So what is the fair market value for a day of child labor? Because according to a woman known as Aunt Green, it's a bag of dead leaves and a handful of limp, prematurely sprouting red set onions. Welcome to today's deep dive.
Yeah, it's quite the payout, right?
Right. I mean, let's be real. We've been looking through your notes and project logs tracking two nature and innovation students, Kesser and Steen. And our mission today is to explore how these two are turning those questionable onion payments into brilliant ecological solutions.
Because that handful of sad one-krone onions immediately forces them into a corner. I mean, what do you even do with soft onions that already have green tops sprouting out of them?
Well, naturally, their first instinct is to soak them in water to speed up the root growth, which is a trick they've successfully used for garlic.
Yeah, but those early green shoots are a massive red flag. They quickly realize soaking them might just cause the onions to bolt.
Wait, bolt? Like, spend all their energy making a flower instead of bulb.
Exactly, because onions are basically biennial batteries. In year one, they store up carbohydrate energy in the bulb.
Which is the part we humans actually want to slice up and eat.
Right, the tasty part. But in year two, they use that stored battery power to grow a flower and reproduce. So by soaking an onion that's already soft and sprouting, you aren't growing a bulb for the kitchen.
You're just like flipping the switch to year two. The battery is draining straight into the flower.
Exactly.
So since we grow them specifically to, caramelize and butter at 200 degrees, shouldn't a bolting onion just be considered a total failure, like thrown straight into the compost?
Well, in a strictly traditional kitchen garden, maybe. But Kesser and Steen see a massive opportunity here. Instead of tossing them, they isolate the sprouting onions and just deliberately let them bloom.
Oh, wow. So they just lean into the failure.
Exactly. An onion flower isn't just a weed. It actually becomes this giant spherical service station. It provides premium jet fuel for wild bees, butterflies, hoverflies, all of that.
That's amazing. Plus, I guess it generates seeds for the next season. So the plant's value completely shifts from your dinner plate to the wider ecosystem.
It really does. But sacrificing precious garden real estate to build this bee buffet creates an immediate spatial problem.
Right, because where do the remaining non-flowering onions go? Especially when the main garden bed isn't even built yet.
Exactly. And if you're listening to this and looking at your own cramped apartment balcony, you probably know exactly what Steen is up against.
So true. His solution is actually to grab an old, worn-out seedling tray, fill it with compost, and just treat every tiny cell like an individual apartment for an onion.
Yeah, and then he mixes in different seeds to create this sort of checkerboard pattern. He puts long-term parking plants right next to quick turnover ones.
I love that analogy. Let's look at the mechanics of that for a second. It's basically an apartment complex where the leases expire at different times.
Right, exactly.
By placing a quick turnover radish next to a slow-growing onion, you make sure the roots aren't competing for the exact same nutrients and physical space at the exact same time. It's brilliant.
It really is. It totally maximizes the yield of such a tiny footprint.
I have to play devil's advocate here, though. I mean, I love their past innovations, like planting garlic in an old roof gutter to slide the whole setup into the dirt in like 17 seconds flat.
That was a great trick.
It was. But tiny individual dirt apartments on a sunny balcony, wouldn't those just dry out instantly? It seems completely impractical because it would require, constant obsessive watering.
Well, left alone in the blazing sun, yeah, they absolutely would dry out. But the core innovation of this modular tray isn't actually about avoiding the watering can.
Oh, really? What is it then?
It's about portability. Because it's in a lightweight tray instead of a fixed row in the ground, Steen can physically move the high-needs plants into the shade during a heat wave, or even nestle the whole thing inside a larger moisture-retaining container.
Ah, I see. So by abandoning traditional fixed rows, he's proving that modular high-density planting is actually an adaptable, highly functional solution.
Exactly. The real insight hidden in these project logs is really about shifting your measure of success.
Right.
Because a failed crop in a human-centric system, like a soft onion that refuses to form a bulb, is actually a highly successful foundation for an ecocentric system.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
So Aunt Green's limp payment wasn't a rip-off at all. It was basically a masterclass in adaptation.
Exactly.
Which leaves us with a final thought for you to mull over. If an onion's biological failure to form a kitchen bulb is actually just a brilliant built-in backup plan to feed an entire micro-ecosystem, well, what perceived failures in your own daily projects are actually just unexpected blooms waiting to be utilized. So what is the fair market value for A day of child labor.